Hello! In this video we're going to talk about water sample collection for the Lakes of Missouri Volunteer Program. And this is the field equipment you'll need. You don't need to take everything out in the field with you. But these items you'll need to take: sample bottles, field notebook, cytotoxin sampler, thermometer, pencil, and Secchi disc with some clothespins. There's a list of the items in your notebook. You can look at that later. First off, you're going to fill out your field sheet at the top with your lake name. Your site number is very important, the date, your name, the time. And once you've got that filled out, it is time to deploy your thermometer. It takes a minute for it to start getting a reading. There's a loop at the end of the string. You run the thermometer around something and through that loop, and you can let it dangle in the water. We want it about elbow deep. While that's hanging out, getting a temperature reading, we can do our Secchi disc reading. This is a measure of water clarity. This little device we lower in the water until it disappears. It's important to take sunglasses off so all readings are comparable. You're going to do this on the shady side of the boat. Find the sun, try to do this in the shade. You can see it a little better. But you're going to lower it down in the water until it just disappears from view. You'll lose the contrast between the black and the white, and it'll just sort of fade away. You sort of see that happening in this video. Here it's going down. You can still see it. You can still see it. Still see it. Oh, starting to go, and there it's gone. So right about that point, you're going to put a clothespin at the surface of the water. And then once you've got that clothespin on, lower it down another couple of feet. And then bring it up slowly until you can just begin to see it again. So here it is coming up. Cannot see it. Cannot see it. Oh, there it is. And put a clothespin at the surface of the water. So now you're going to have two clothespins on this piece of tape measure. What we want is the average of those two depths. And the easiest way to do that is just to fold it in the middle so the clothespins touch, and then record the depth at the center of the clothespins. You might want to bring the Secchi disc back in the boat before you write anything down so it doesn't fall out of the boat and sink to the bottom of the lake. And write down your Secchi depth. Inches is great. If you use some other unit of measure, please let me know what you're using. And I bet the thermometer is ready now. So pull it out. Get the reading as quickly as possible. Don't grab it by the base. That'll increase the temperature. Get the temperature reading as fast as you can, because of this, as the wind blows across a wet thermometer, it'll cool it off. And then write that down in your book. I'll probably know if you're using Fahrenheit or Celsius, but go ahead and circle whichever one you're using first. Now it's time to get the water sample. Before we get the sample, we're going to rinse out the sample container. The sample bottle, this 2-liter bottle that I've got in my hand here. Don't forget to rinse the cap. Rinse that out first. And then when that's done, we're going to rinse out this other container that we used to composite the sample into that 2-liter bottle. It's a kind of squarish one. So rinse that out 3 times. And don't forget to rinse the cap, as I almost did. Oops, there it is. 1, 2, 3. So the way to get the samples, see, I'm going to brush the surface of the water a little bit to get that surface scum out of the way, and then plunge that bottle down mouth first, and then rotate it under the water, right side up, and it'll fill up, and pour it into the 2-liter sample bottle. You're going to repeat this until that 2-liter sample bottle is full. So as you're doing this, reach to the other side of the boat and grab a sample. Reach forward a little bit, maybe backward. If you're in a pontoon boat, it may be a little harder. We'll have another video showing a device you can make that makes it easier to sample from the deck of a pontoon boat. So we're sort of averaging the water around your boat. So we're not getting one grab that represents the whole lake. We're doing an average of this area around your sample site. Mouth down first, turn it right side up underwater, the air bubbles out, bring it up, pour it in that 2-liter bottle. When you got that done, put the cap on, mark your data sheet that you collected your 2-liter water sample. Now we're going to collect our cyanotoxin sample. This is a measure of the blue-green algal toxins. And we're going to use this sampling tube. It has a valve at one end, a one-way valve, so you just sort of poke it slowly in the water. It fills up. First thing you do is rinse it out 3 times. Once you get that done, we're going to fill up that square bottle with 3 samples from the sampling tube. And remember, you've already rinsed that square bottle 3 times. Slowly poke it in the lake. You see the speed I'm going here, about that fast. We're sampling the top 20 inches or so of the water column with this sampler. Just do it 3 times. Again, just sort of reach around the boat, get it from various spots. I'm drifting, so I'm changing position, so I'm still getting spatially distant samples. And once you got that done, check your field sheet. Then look around, look at the wave condition. In this case, the water's a little rippled. That can affect our Secchi depth if the surface of the water is disturbed. Keep the samples out of the sunlight so the algae don't continue to grow in the bottle. If you're going to be out for more than an hour or so, stick them in a cooler with some ice. And please process the samples the same day you collect them. And now it's time to head home and process those water samples. We'll cover that in the next video.